The sky above the world begins to tear. At first, it's subtle, a ripple across the clouds, a shiver in the wind, a pulse that feels almost alive. Then, it intensifies. Satellites flicker and die. Storms form where the sun should shine. Across two separate cities, alarms scream, New York and Gotham, worlds apart, yet linked by an invisible thread. On every screen, a single message flashes, glowing and impossible to ignore. Two worlds, one fate, only the stronger survives. No one knows who sent it. No one knows why. But one truth is clear: the Avengers and the Justice League are about to meet in a war that could collapse reality itself, and no one is prepared. Tony Stark stands alone in the tower, analyzing energy readings that defy every law of physics. Quantum anomalies, magical signatures, cosmic disturbances all converging. Thor shivers, feeling a pulse through Yggdrasil, a ripple that shouldn't exist. Across universes, Batman watches a tear form over Metropolis. Superman and Wonder Woman appear beside him, their expressions taut with suspicion and curiosity. The air hums with tension, charged with the knowledge that something is watching, studying, waiting. At dawn, the first breach explodes across the Atlantic. Reality folds like paper, two worlds colliding violently. The Avengers assemble at once: Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Doctor Strange, hovering over the ocean in a Quinjet as the portal spirals wider. From the other side, the Justice League emerges. Superman leads, followed by Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. For a moment, neither team speaks. They simply stare at each other, recognizing strength, but also the impossible nature of the collision. A shockwave erupts, blasting both teams backward. Tony's armor flickers. Cyborg's systems glitch. Thor's hammer vibrates with unstable energy. Wonder Woman's lasso glows with divine heat. Instinct grips them all. Someone or something wants them to fight. Superman raises a hand in peace. Tony, scanning the energy spikes, misreads it as a threat. Batman marks Tony as a danger. In seconds, miscommunication explodes. A Quinjet turret fires automatically at the League. The ocean erupts. Superman intercepts the blast, shielding the League. And in that instant, all hope of calm shatters. Captain America raises his shield. Wonder Woman draws her sword. Thor descends, lightning roaring. Aquaman summons the fury of the sea. The greatest heroes from two worlds brace for battle, a fight neither wants, but one neither will back down from. Thor hurls Mjolnir, meeting Wonder Woman's sword mid-air, sparks of divine energy tearing through the sky. Captain America charges, colliding with Superman in mid-flight, sending a tidal wave across the ocean. Hulk leaps toward Aquaman, but the tide rises to counter him. Iron Man streaks across the battlefield, scanning the League, only to be tapped by Flash, sending him spiraling into the waters below. Doctor Strange and Cyborg realize the breach is expanding, feeding on the energy of both universes, growing faster than either can stabilize. But Batman closes in on Captain America, two tactical minds clashing in a storm of skill and precision. Magic, science, and raw power clash violently as heroes test each other's limits. And then the sky flickers. The breach pulses darkly, unnatural shadows creeping across the edges. Something stirs inside a presence, ancient and cold, feeding on the chaos. Even Hulk, even Flash, even Superman pause. The wind stills, the ocean calms, and for the first time, both teams sense the threat far greater than the fight between themselves. The figure that emerges from the breach is not flesh, not metal, not a god from either universe. It is a living void, a silhouette woven from shadows and burning stars, shifting and unstable, yet terrifyingly solid. Its presence bends reality around it, and its voice echoes across both worlds at once, vibrating through the air, water, and even the bones of every hero. Conflict feeds creation. Creation feeds collapse. Collapse feeds me. Doctor Strange feels every hair on his neck rise. Batman's jaw tightens. Superman's fists clench. This being is something beyond cosmic comprehension, beyond magic, beyond logica, predator, thriving on the unraveling of universes. Tony Stark, floating above the ocean, mutters through the coms, "Okay, so we found the final boss." The entity stretches its form, tendrils of void energy curling outward, draining the light and heat around it. Two worlds merge, two armies clash. Balance breaks. Power grows. You are my catalysts. Continue your war, and I will consume what remains. Suddenly, clarity hits every hero. The fight between them was never the real danger. Their division, the mistrust, the hesitation, the misunderstandings, was feeding this being, empowering it beyond reckoning. Superman steps forward, wind whipping around him. If you want our worlds, he says, you'll have to go through us, both of us. The entity tilts its head, amused. You are strong, but divided. Captain America steps beside Superman without hesitation. We won't be divided anymore. Thor lands beside Wonder Woman, the storm of the world at his back. Flash zips beside Spider-Man. Aquaman rises with Hulk. Doctor Strange and Cyborg link their magic and tech, combining energies from both universes. For the first time, Avengers and Justice League stand together, unified against a threat neither fully understands but both know is unstoppable. If they falter, the entity lashes out immediately. Dark tendrils strike across the ocean and sky. Superman blocks the first, heat vision, cutting into the void. Captain America deflects another, sparks flying as vibranium meets darkness. Hulk and Aquaman slam together into its lower mass, destabilizing it while Green Lantern constructs a massive cage of light to contain it. But the being adapts, reshaping itself with terrifying speed, feeding on the energy of their attacks. The sky fractures, revealing glimpses of colliding worlds. Asgard, flickering over the Mississippi, Gotham merging with New York. The battlefield is no longer stable ground, but a patchwork of universes stitched together by cosmic calamity. Doctor Strange, wounded but determined, rises again. We can cut it off from the breach, he says, but we'll need a massive synchronized power, surge everything from both universes at once. Cyborg nods, sparks flying from damaged circuits. It's the only way to seal it. Batman, soaked and bruised, issues the command no one wants to hear. Someone has to get inside it. Close it from within. Superman steps forward without hesitation. Thor, Wonder Woman, and Captain Marvel join him. The few strongest heroes brace themselves for the impossible. The entity senses their intent and lashes out violently. But Spider-Man webs Flash and civilians out of harm's way, while Captain America rallies the ground forces, forming a shield for the final strike. The air hums with tension. The sky splits. Doctor Strange begins the countdown. 3, 2, 1, now. Every hero unleashes their ultimate attack. Superman and Thor channel beams of energy that split the air. Wonder Woman's sword glows like molten light. Captain Marvel becomes a living comet of power. Iron Man overloads his arc reactor. Flash races in impossible loops. Green Lantern pours all his will into a single emerald spear. Their combined might tears through the entity, opening a hollow at its center. Superman and Wonder Woman plunge inside, bracing against gravitational chaos. The entity shrieks, twisting violently as Strange and Cyborg activate the sealing spell. The breach convulses, reality bending like liquid glass. The heroes cling to anything they can as energies spiral inward, and then silence. The breach slams shut. The entity's gone, sealed within the lattice of magic, tech, and raw power. For a long moment, no one moves. Then Superman rises from the waves, battered but alive. Thor follows. Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, and the others slowly gather. Captain America and Batman exchange a tired, meaningful nod. The ultimate war is over, but the alliance forged in this battle the moment two universes stood together will echo forever. Even as the breach is sealed, a heavy silence hangs over the battlefield. The ocean calms, the sky clears, and yet every hero feels the lingering weight of what almost happened. The destruction was immense, but the true cost of fragile trust between two universes remains, the unspoken scar. Superman looks around at the Avengers and Justice League, each battered, bruised, yet alive. We survived, he says quietly, voice carrying across the rippling water. But survival isn't enough. We have to understand why this happened. Doctor Strange kneels, scanning residual energy from the breach. The entity wasn't just a parasite. It was a collector of potential destruction feeding on division. Two universes colliding, mistrust at every corner. It amplified itself from that energy. If we hadn't united, everything would be lost. Every world, every life. Batman steps forward, his dark silhouette stark against the dawnlit ocean. Then we make sure it never happens again. We monitor the space between universes. We prepare for anything. His words are met with nods from both teams. Iron Man hovers above, calculating rapidly. It's going to take more than brute force next time. We need tech, magic, strategy, and coordination across realities. The heroes begin to regroup, tending to the wounded, rebuilding defenses, and rescuing civilians who are caught in the chaos. Flash and Spider-Man weave through the cityscapes, guiding people away from collapsing structures. Hulk and Aquaman clear debris, while Captain America and Batman strategize to secure key locations in both universes. Doctor Strange and Cyborg work together, their magic tech interface forming a lattice across both realities to monitor the cosmic scars left behind. Even as they move, subtle ripples in reality persist. Buildings flicker between worlds for a heartbeat. Gravity shifts unpredictably in some places. It's a reminder that the entity's influence isn't entirely gone, merely contained, like a storm bottled up but not yet dissipated. Thor surveys the horizon. The storm has passed, but the air still carries its taste. It warns us that even gods can fall if we remain divided. Wonder Woman tightens her grip on her sword, eyes narrowing. Then we train, we prepare, we unite before the enemy forces a war we can't stop. In the distance, across merged city skylines, Superman and Captain Marvel patrol the skies, silently watching for anomalies. Iron Man and Cyborg work to create a communication network that spans realities. Strange performs protective wards, binding the borders of both worlds together. Captain America and Batman continue to coordinate ground forces, ensuring that every hero, Avenger and Justice League understands their role in the fragile truce. Yet, even as they prepare, an unshakable feeling settles in. Somewhere, beyond the stars, the sealed entity waits. It was patient before, and it'll be patient again. It doesn't need to attack immediately. It only needs time to study, adapt, and exploit weaknesses. The heroes realize, collectively, that this is no longer just a battle. It is a war of preparation, a war of vigilance, a test of whether trust can exist between two universes. And though they have survived, the shadow of what might come haunts every thought, every glance skyward, every pulse of energy that still vibrates unnaturally through their worlds. Captain America speaks finally, voice low but unwavering. We've learned one thing today. Together, we are stronger. But if we let fear, suspicion, or pride divide us, even gods can fall. We will not allow it. Superman nods. Then we stand guard, and we wait, because whatever comes next, we face it as one. A night falls over the merged battlefields, and a tense calm spreads across both cities. The aftermath of the clash is visible everywhere, streets cracked, buildings scorched, energy still shimmering in the air. Avengers and Justice League members patrolled side by side, sharing insights, techniques, and cautionary advice. Flash races alongside Quicksilver, their super speed creating trails of light across the skyline, while Spider-Man and Green Lantern coordinate evacuation efforts. Even in this uneasy calm, the air hums with a residual pulse, a reminder of the entity that still waits, dormant but alive. Deep beneath the waves, Aquaman speaks to the remnants of his kingdom, warning them of the unseen danger still lingering in the corners of reality. Hulk, calmer now, lifts debris and fortifies defenses alongside Wonder Woman and Thor. Doctor Strange, exhausted but relentless, studies the cosmic scars left in both universes. It learned from our conflict, he mutters. It adapted. The next time it strikes, it will know our limits, our weaknesses, and exploit them. Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne meet atop a half-collapsed tower, overlooking the chaos. Stark's usual quip falls flat as he says, "I thought I'd seen everything, but this was beyond anything I could imagine." Bruce replies, "We survived because we didn't underestimate each other. That's the only reason either of our worlds still exists." Their eyes meet, understanding, respect, and an unspoken agreement that their cooperation is now vital. Elsewhere, Superman and Captain Marvel patrol the skies, noting pockets where gravity and light still behave oddly. "This isn't over," Superman says. "Not by a long shot. We stopped it once, but it's only sealed. Time is the real enemy now." Carol nods, eyes scanning the horizon. "Then we make every second count. Every training session, every mission, every alliance strengthens the shield that keeps both worlds alive." In the shadows, Batman, Iron Man, and Cyborg establish a network of observation points. scanning for anomalies, residual energy, and potential breaches. It's learning, Cyborg warns. Every action we take, every power we use, it records, adapts, and calculates. The next confrontation won't be a battle, it'll be a war designed for us to fail. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman trains younger heroes in combat, passing on lessons learned from gods and warriors alike. Thor strikes with precision, hammer ringing against the makeshift training grounds. Flash and Quicksilver spar with super-speed drills that test the limits of physics itself. Each action is more than training. It is preparation for the inevitable return of the entity. Despite the calm, tension simmers. Strange performs rituals in sanctums scattered across universes, binding wards and protective sigils, while Batman and Captain America enforce rules and coordination to prevent any internal conflict from weakening their combined forces. Every hero, from every world, knows that mistrust is their greatest vulnerability. And then, a subtle ripple passes through the skies, a vibration only a few can feel. Strange stiffens. Superman's eyes narrow. Wonder Woman grips her sword tighter. Somewhere, beyond perception, the entity stirs within its seal. Time is passing, and patience is a weapon it wields better than any army. Captain America gathers the key heroes. We've survived. We've fought gods and monsters alike, but now the real test begins. Can we stand united, even when fear, pride, or doubt tries to tear us apart? That's what will determine if our worlds survive the next ultimate war. Superman steps beside him. Then we remain vigilant. We remain united. And when the entity returns, he will face not just one universe, but two, standing as one. As dawn rises, the horizon is quiet, but the tension lingers. Heroes from both worlds look toward the future, aware that this fragile alliance may be their only chance at survival. Somewhere beyond the stars, the entity waits, patient, observing, and calculating. And both universes know one truth above all else. When the next war comes, nothing will be the same. The following days are tense, but the heroes maintain a disciplined vigilance. Avengers and Justice League members patrol the skies, seas, and cities together, forging strategies and routines that span both universes. Even in downtime, there is no real rest. Hulk trains under Aquaman's guidance, learning to channel his brute strength into controlled precision. Wonder Woman and Thor discuss combat techniques, analyzing how their divine powers could combine to create unstoppable synergy. Flash and Quicksilver coordinate across dimensions, racing through cityscapes to ensure no anomaly goes unnoticed. Doctor Strange and Cyborg expand their efforts, reinforcing the cosmic seals that contain the entity. Strange studies the interdimensional rift, while Cyborg upgrades his systems to detect the faintest energy disturbances. It's not gone, Strange says, eyes narrowing over arcane projections. It's waiting, learning, adapting. Every action we take feeds its understanding of us. Tony Stark adds, then we become unpredictable, untraceable, unstoppable. Meanwhile, tension simmers beneath the surface. Old rivalries, mistrust, and cultural differences between the two universes threaten to disrupt the fragile alliance. Batman monitors every move with suspicion. Captain America mediates, and Wonder Woman reminds everyone that the enemy feeds on division. Every conversation, every training session, every joint operation becomes a lesson in trust, not just in battle. Across the merged cityscapes, a subtle, invisible force begins to manipulate energy currents. Strange senses, at first a small ripple of void energy, almost imperceptible, yet undeniably alive. Superman and Thor notice gravity warping briefly near a collapsed skyscraper. Even Hulk pauses mid-strike, sensing the pulse of something dark. The entity is testing its boundaries, probing its seal, and gathering knowledge about the hero's strengths and weaknesses. In a quiet command center, Tony and Bruce analyze patterns in the anomalies. It's learning our tactics, predicting our responses. Tony says, frustration in his voice. Bruce replies calmly, then we teach it the wrong lessons, set traps, fake weaknesses, make it question every move. Their minds work in sync, devising strategies that balance science, intellect, and intuition. Meanwhile, smaller heroes on both sides, Spider-Man, Green Lantern, Hawkeye, and Cyborg, begin missions to secure weak points in the cities. Evacuations, fortifications, and patrols are coordinated like a chessboard, each action monitored and adapted in real time. Every hero realizes that preparation is now their most potent weapon, because the next confrontation will not allow mistakes. But even as the days pass, unease grows. Strange warns the leaders of a shift. The entity isn't dormant. It's consolidating energy from the rift, absorbing chaos from both universes. Soon, it will test us again harder, smarter, faster. This is the calm before a storm, stronger than anything we've faced. Captain America addresses the assembled heroes. We've survived gods, monsters, and ourselves. But survival isn't enough anymore. We must evolve, together, without doubt, without hesitation, without division. Only then can we hope to face what's coming. Superman steps forward, eyes scanning the horizon. Then we train harder, watch closer, and prepare for the day when this entity comes for us again. And when it does, we will not be caught unready. As night falls, heroes across both universes remain alert, knowing the entity is observing, adapting, and learning. The uneasy calm is punctuated by subtle distortions in reality. A flicker of light here, a shadow where none should exist, whispers across empty streets. It is a warning, a promise. The ultimate war is far from over, and the true test of trust, power, and unity is still ahead. Weeks pass, and the alliance between Avengers and Justice League deepens. They have learned to trust one another, coordinate their abilities, and anticipate threats across both universes. Yet, beneath the surface, a subtle tension remains. The heroes know that this unity is temporary, fragile, and constantly tested by both pride and fear. Every patrol, every training session, every mission is a lesson in trust and vigilance. Doctor Strange senses the rift stirring again. It's probing, he warns, tracing lines of dark energy flickering across the sky. He wants to test the seal. He wants to know if we are truly prepared. Superman and Captain Marvel take to the skies, scanning every anomaly with precision. Aquaman and Hulk patrol the oceans, ensuring no energy disturbance goes unnoticed. Batman and Iron Man review strategy simulations, identifying weak points that could be exploited by an intelligent, adaptive foe. Even as they prepare, smaller disturbances begin to ripple across the merged cities. Gravity warps, shadows flicker unnaturally, and the faint hum of energy vibrates through the air. The entity is still contained, but it is not idle. It is learning the limits of every hero, measuring patience, calculating weaknesses, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. Training escalates to an almost obsessive level. Wonder Woman instructs teams in combat strategy and divine power control. Thor demonstrates mastery over elemental storms. And Flash and Quicksilver push the limits of speed to create complex maneuvers. Hulk learns to channel rage into controlled strikes alongside Aquaman, while Spider-Man and Green Lantern focus on urban reconnaissance and defense. Each action, each drill, becomes part of a grand preparation for an enemy that adapts faster than any of them can anticipate. Meanwhile, Tony and Bruce develop advanced surveillance technology and predictive algorithms. Cyborg and Doctor Strange integrate magic and tech into a vast network spanning both universes. Every hero's movements, every anomaly, every energy fluctuation is logged and analyzed. They are building a system not only to detect threats, but to anticipate them. To stay one step ahead of the entity that watches and waits. But as preparation intensifies, unease grows. The entity, though sealed, is feeding on the subtle chaos that still lingers in the fractured worlds. Small rifts begin to appear in unexpected locations, barely visible but potent, causing sudden storms, gravity shifts, and reality warps. Even the most powerful heroes, Superman, Thor, Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, feel the weight of a presence that refuses to be ignored. Doctor Strange convenes the leaders. This is more than a waiting game. The entity is consolidating energy from the rift. It will strike again, harder, faster, smarter, and when it does, it will test everything we've built: our strength, our trust, our unity. Captain America addresses the combined forces. We've survived impossible battles before. We've united across worlds, but survival isn't enough. We must prepare for war, not just defense. Every moment counts. Every decision can save or doom millions. Superman nods, his gaze fixed on the horizon. We are the guardians of two universes now. If we falter, everything we've fought for is lost. The entity will not hesitate, and neither can we. Night falls again, and emerged cities sleep uneasily. Heroes patrol, train, and monitor, aware that their enemy is patient, intelligent, and relentless. The calm before the storm stretches longer than anyone expected, but it is filled with a silent, mounting tension. The ultimate war is far from over, and the day the entity returns will demand more than brute force, will demand perfect coordination, absolute trust, and unwavering courage. The calm does not last. One morning, subtle distortions in the skyline alert the heroes simultaneously. Buildings ripple like liquid, streets briefly phase in and out of alignment, and the air hums with a low, ominous vibration. Strange, studying the phenomenon from a sanctum between worlds, senses the entity stirring within its seal. It's testing the limits, he mutters. It's probing our defenses. It's learning again. Superman and Captain Marvel take to the skies, scanning rapidly for anomalies. Thor rises beside them, hammer in hand, lightning crackling across the clouds. Wonder Woman follows, sword drawn, as Aquaman channels currents through the oceans below. Even Hulk senses the unease, his growl low and warning, ready to strike at any sign of danger. On the ground, Batman and Iron Man coordinate defensive patrols. Green Lantern and Cyborg establish a perimeter, reinforcing weak points and integrating magic tech defenses. Spider-Man swings through flickering skyscrapers, webs anchoring to buildings that sometimes phase in and out of reality. Flash and Quicksilver race through streets and loops, detecting subtle distortions that humans cannot perceive, alerting their teams to potential breaches. The entity tests its limits, sending pulses of void energy that ripple through the merged cities. Each pulse strains the heroes' coordination. Gravity shifts unpredictably, buildings sway, and shadows twist unnaturally. Strange's magic flares, creating protective barriers that barely contain the energy. It's gauging our reactions, learning our limits, he warns. We are still its experiment. Captain America rallies the leaders. Stay focused. Every action we take must be calculated. If we fight recklessly, we give it exactly what it wants. We fight smart, coordinated, and together. Superman nods, eyes scanning for the first sign of direct engagement. Then we observe, adapt, and strike as one. Despite the tension, the heroes push forward. Training intensifies, with combined drills testing reactions, strength, and strategy. Thor and Wonder Woman simulate divine combat, integrating power flows across dimensions. Hulk and Aquaman spar in controlled ocean arenas, honing the balance between raw force and precision. Flash, Quicksilver, and Spider-Man perfect speed-based interventions to evacuate civilians and counter distortions. Strange and Cyborg continue expanding the magical tick lattice, refining sensors that track even faint energy fluctuations. Every hero is integrated into the system, every movement monitored, and every anomaly catalogued. Their aim is not to defeat the entity, yet they cannot but to anticipate its moves, prepare contingencies, and ensure the next confrontation will favor the united forces. But as the days pass, a darker realization emerges. The entity is not just studying power, it is studying trust. Missteps, hesitation, doubts between heroes, even subtle conflicts, feed the energy that sustains it. Every friction, every argument, every lingering suspicion is a weapon in its hands. Captain America addresses the assembled forces, voice steady. We cannot let pride or fear divide us. If we do, it wins. The next time it strikes, it will exploit every weakness we've left exposed. We are not just training two fights, training us to be perfect as a team, as one. Every world, every life, depends on it. Superman steps forward, his gaze resolute. Then, we remain vigilant. Every eye, every mind, every action must be united. And when it returns, we will not falter. The entity stirs again within its prison, imperceptible yet omnipresent, a silent reminder that the ultimate war is not over. It watches, calculates, and waits for the moment when chaos and division can fuel its rise once more. And the heroes of two universes prepare, knowing that the coming storm will challenge everything they have learned, tested every bond they have forged, and demand more courage, power, and unity than they have ever mustered before. The warning comes without fanfare. One moment the merged cities seem calm, the next, the air vibrates with a low, resonant hum. Strange flares his hands, forming intricate sigils that pulsed with both light and shadow. It's breaking the edges of its containment, he warns. It's testing the seal. Soon, it will try to escape on when it does. It won't just be observing anymore. Superman and Captain Marvel rise into the turbulent skies. Thor follows, his hammer summoning storms across the ocean. Wonder Woman draws her sword, its divine heat burning brighter than ever. Hulk and Aquaman patrol the waters below, muscles tensed, eyes scanning for the first ripple of the enemy's presence. Flash and Quicksilver streak across the city, alerting their teammates to anomalies that bend space and time. Suddenly, subtle distortions coalesce into a tangible form. The entity, though still bound, begins to project itself partially into reality. Its shadowed tendrils lash outward, not yet fully solid, but enough to create chaos. Buildings warp, the ground quakes, and energy pulses radiate in all directions. Doctor Strange and Cyborg struggle to reinforce the containment lattice, their combined magic and technology straining under the pressure. Captain America rallies the ground forces. Hold the line. Protect civilians. Watch each other's backs. If it breaks free, it's all hands on deck. Spider-Man swings into action, webs anchoring to structures that flicker in and out of existence. Green Lantern constructs barriers of light that shimmer and bend as the entity's energy twists around them. Hawkeye and Black Widow coordinate evacuation efforts, guiding terrified civilians to safety. Thor and Wonder Woman clash with the entity's tendrils, their combined strength and divine power countering the initial onslaught. Hulk and Aquaman smash through energy distortions, redirecting chaos away from the cities. Superman and Captain Marvel engage the core of the entity's projection, testing its strength while Strange channels magical energy to reinforce the containment. Despite their efforts, the entity adapts faster than they anticipate. Every attack is absorbed, redirected, or nullified. Its shadowed form flickers, feeding on conflict and hesitation. Even minor disagreements between hero strategy debates, conflicting instincts fuel its growth. Captain America recognizes it instantly. It's not just fighting us, it's using us against ourselves. Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne coordinate remotely, deploying tech and strategy simulations that anticipate the entity's adaptive maneuvers. We have to force it into predictable patterns, Bruce states. Make it think it has control, then strike where it least expects. Tony nods, rapidly adjusting energy shields and defensive systems across both worlds. In the skies, Superman and Wonder Woman combine their powers into a synchronized assault, striking the entity's tendrils simultaneously. Thor channels a storm of lightning, creating a vortex that disrupts its energy flow. Captain Marvel dives through the chaos, blinding the enemy with bursts of radiant power. Strange and Cyborg recalibrate the lattice, creating weak points designed to trap the entity if it overextends. But the entity is cunning. It recoils, splitting into multiple projections, forcing heroes to divide attention and resources. Each moment of distraction, each miscalculation, feeds its strength, sharpening its understanding of their limits. Captain America calls out orders with precision. Do not break formation. Watch each other. Focus. Trust each other. Superman responds, eyes scanning for any sign of vulnerability. We hold together, or we fall together. No hesitation, no doubts. As the entity pulses and adapts, it becomes clear the coming confrontation will demand more than strength. It will demand unity, flawless coordination, and courage beyond anything the heroes have faced. The ultimate war is not just a battle, it is a test of trust, strategy, and the very essence of what it means to be a hero across two universes. The air is thick with tension as the entity's projections surge across the merged cities. Buildings flicker, streets warp, and energy pulses distort reality. Doctor Strange and Cyborg strain to maintain the containment lattice. Sweat and sparks flying as magic and technology intertwine to hold the entity at bay. It's learning faster than we anticipated, Strange mutters. Every second we hesitate, it adapts. Superman, Thor, and Wonder Woman coordinate the first strike. Their combined power creates shockwaves that ripple through the distorted landscape, forcing the entity's tendrils to retract momentarily. Captain Marvel streaks through the chaos, blasting concentrated beams of energy into weak points identified by Tony and Bruce's simulations. Hulk and Aquaman smash through collapsing streets and warp structures, clearing paths for civilians and reinforcing defenses. Captain America and Batman leave ground operations, ensuring no hero is isolated. Watch your angles. Watch each other, Steve shouts. Batman replies calmly, keep the perimeter tight. Don't let it isolate anyone. The synergy between the two universes is palpably. Every action is calculated, every strike anticipated by allies, every weakness covered, but the entity adapts instantly. Shadows coil, splitting into multiple forms, lashing out with precision. Gravity warps beneath their feet. Energy pulses throw heroes off balance. Even Superman's heat vision flickers under the pressure. Doctor Strange realizes the truth. Brute force alone cannot contain it. They must act together, perfectly synchronized, or the entity will overwhelm them. The leaders convene mid-battle. "We need a final coordinated strike," Strange says. Everyone at once. Ground, air, sea, magic, and tech converge at the core of the breach. Captain America nods, raising his shield. "All units, this is it. We fight as one, or nothing survives." Superman, Wonder Woman, Thor, Captain Marvel, Hulk, and Aquaman charge toward the entity's heart, unleashing the full force of their powers in unison. Doctor Strange amplifies the energy with his Feltic lattice. Cyborg directing pulses of synchronized power from multiple points across the cities. Flash and Quicksilver circle at impossible speeds, creating vortexes that disrupt the entity's projections. Green Lantern hurls constructs of pure willpower, locking shadows into position. Spider-Man, Hawkeye, and Black Widow provide critical support, redirecting attacks and protecting civilians. The entity shrieks, tendrils lashing wildly, but every hero is precise. Every movement, every strike, every defense is coordinated. It is overwhelmed, not destroyed, but contained, forced to retract as the combined assault strikes its core. The sky fractures, oceans churn, buildings tremble, and for a moment, time itself seems to hold its breath. Doctor Strange completes the lattice. Now, seal it. Superman and Wonder Woman plunge into the center, anchoring the energy from both universes. Thor channels lightning, Wonder Woman channels divine energy, Captain Marvel channels cosmic force, and Hulk and Aquaman apply unstoppable physical pressure. The lattice glows, the void shrieks, and the entity is pulled back into containment. A final explosion of light engulfs the merged cities. The breach snaps closed, the entity sealed once again. Silence follows, complete, overwhelming. The skies clear, the ocean calms, and buildings settle back into their proper forms. Heroes lie scattered, exhausted, battered, yet alive. Captain America rises, extending a hand to Superman. "We did it, together." Superman grasps it firmly. "Together," he echoes. Thor lands beside Wonder Woman. Hulk and Aquaman nod. Flash and Quicksilver, slow to catch their breath. Every hero shares a moment of silent understanding. The fight between them was never the real battle. The real war was whether they could unite. Doctor Strange looks to the sky, sensing a lingering presence. It's not gone, only sealed. And it'll wait. "Always watching, always learning," Batman mutters, eyes narrowing. "Then we stay ready, always. The ultimate war is over for now." Two universes, once divided, have learned a hard lesson. True strength lies not in power alone, but in trust, unity, and the courage to face the impossible together. The heroes stand together, looking toward the horizon. Somewhere beyond the stars, the entity waits, and both universes know that when it returns, they will face it united or fall apart alone. As dawn breaks over the restored cities, a fragile calm settles across the merged worlds. The air is still charged with the remnants of energy, and yet, for the first time in weeks, there is a sense of hope. The Avengers and Justice League stand together not just as allies, but as guardians of two universes whose fates are now intertwined. Captain America surveys the horizon, eyes firm yet tired. "We learned something essential. Strength alone cannot save worlds. Power without trust is meaningless. It is only when we stand united, across differences, across universes, that we can face the impossible and survive." Superman nods beside him. "The entity will return. It will test us again. But now, we are not divided. Now, we are prepared not just to fight, but to endure, to protect, to stand together against any threat." Doctor Strange closes his eyes, feeling the lingering threads of the sealed rift. This is more than a victory. It is a promise. Two worlds, one bond forged in crisis, a shield against darkness. The ultimate war taught us that heroes are strongest when they are united, and even gods. can fall, but only if they stand divided. Thor raises Mjolnir to the sky. The storm may come again, but together, we are the lightning that will strike back. Wonder Woman tightens her grip on her sword. Together, no force can break us. Together, we endure. The sun rises higher, casting light across the battle-scarred cities. Heroes from both universes gather, weary but unbroken, understanding that what they have built is more than an alliance, it is a legacy. The scars of the ultimate war will remain, a reminder of the stakes, the sacrifices, and the strength found in unity. Somewhere beyond the stars, the entity lies in wait, silent, patient, and hungry. But the Avengers and Justice League know one truth above all. When it returns, they will face it not as separate teams, but as one force, one bond forged through chaos, courage, and unbreakable trust. And in that unity, they find the ultimate power. The ultimate war is over. The gods may fall, but heroes endure, and together they will always rise.